Everyone online says you need to scale with a course. And I say, sell the damn service. I'm Emily Williams, award-winning consultant and Productized offer expert since 2014. And I'm here to help you work less, make more, and stop custom building your burnout. Each week, we talk strategy, structure, and the real stories behind sustainable service businesses. You know, from service providers who like doing service work, who want to stay in service work, but also just make more money. If you're ready for all that yapping, then let's dive in. This is going to be a quick and dirty ranty episode, so get ready. Because I have seen this strategy or thought process pop up for so many service providers in recent weeks. I feel like it kind of like died down, but it's come back with a vengeance. This is a strategy that has been deployed by many one-on-one done-for-you service providers when they reach what I call ceiling season, meaning they hit their revenue ceiling and their capacity ceiling. So they cannot make any more money because they do not have any more time. They have zero capacity for new clients, but they can't, bring on more clients because they are at capacity, and they can't make more money because they're at capacity. And it's just this cycle, right? It's this, I picture it as two helium balloons hitting the ceiling, right? Bouncing off of the ceiling, and you can't reach them, and they're high up there, and they're just bebopping, right? Slowly losing air. That's where so many service providers get to, and they're, done for you one-on-one, and they're like, all right, well, the only way out of this is to do something drastically different, right? And you've heard me talk about it before. Some people will try to sell the DIY version of their service, whether that be in a course or a template shop or downloads or whatever. And they try to go that route, the one-to-many low-price digital offer route. And before they know it, they've got a shop full of things that are under $500, and they're wondering why they're not bridging their revenue gap and why it's taking them even more time to market and create the content and sell and grow that style of business, because it is a different style of business, right? But then there's this sneaky other option that doesn't get talked about a lot, because I think some of us try to do this quite literally in the cover of darkness, and we slowly marinate on this idea, and we put together a sales page, and we create the listing, and we maybe talk to a couple of people and get them really excited about it. Typically, we're listening to a couple of potential previous clients or members of our community or audience who are asking for this thing, and we, under the cover of darkness, create the content, the material, the collateral, the accoutrements for this thing. And then we design a launch around it, because it feels so different from our standard how we get clients, right? Typically through referrals and relationship building. So it feels new and it feels fun. And then we launch this thing, and I'll tell you what it is here in a second. And the couple of people that were shouting so loudly about it haven't enrolled. The people who maybe clicked that they were interested when we did send an email about it haven't enrolled. Maybe like 3 people on LinkedIn or Threads or Instagram decided to dive in, but it's not who you thought would join. It's definitely not the quantity of the amount of people you thought would join. And it certainly doesn't match the time, attention, and effort that you put in to getting it ready. What am I talking about? I'm talking about done for you, one-on-one service providers who are using a lever to theoretically increase their revenue and be able to have an offer where their capacity is quote unquote limitless. And they do this by creating what is actually a membership offer, but they're not calling it that. Maybe they're calling it an intensive, a cohort, a group program, a sprint, right? And maybe it's a designated time frame, and they're thinking, okay, well, I can get 10 people inside or 15 people inside or 20 people inside. and we're going to do this live version of my service, but there's going to be less done for you aspects. There's still usually done for you aspects. And it's just going to be this amazing group container. It's at this low budget price point where I'm getting to teach. This is the thing that's coming up a lot right now. I just want to get to teach. I have this teaching bone in my body that I want to put out there, right? And I want to strategize. I want to be in the trenches and I want to teach. That word specifically keeps coming up. And I know there's so much I know that could help people in my chosen industry and niche. But for people who can't afford to work with me, they need a different container. So if I cut the price, deliver the high level strategy, but I just don't implement as much, then that makes sense, right? I can do it in this cohort, in this intensive, in this sprint, get a whole bunch of people inside. And then, okay, it's something I can just welcome new people in all the time because I don't have to do anything. It's so low lift. It's so passive. Tell me you haven't ran a membership without telling me you haven't ran a membership. Because A, that's what it is. I don't give a shit if you call it an intensive, a sprint, a VIP month. I don't care. That is a membership. All right? Because it is not a one and done project where it has a price point and a time frame where it's over. It's an ongoing thing. You want people to join this accelerator program, group container, whatever you're calling it, and you want to get them to join, and then you want to get them to stay, and then you want more people to join, and you want them to stay, and you want them to keep paying you month over month. Baby, that's called a membership. That's a recurring membership. And when we have a membership, there are metrics about that type of product, that business model, because guess what? It's a different business model than what you've been running. We've got to look at different metrics and data points and conversions in order to see the health of that membership, because we're calling it what it is, right? And so what happens is a service provider will tell me, yeah, I'm capped out on done for you. I can't take on any more clients. I really don't want to hire. And so I really want to teach though. And I know a lot and I want to talk about the things that I know. And I still want people to be able to get really good results in my chosen industry. Maybe it's SEO or it's copywriting or it's design, it's branding, it's social media marketing, right? So you're going to take an element of that and you're going to say, okay, I'm just going to design this thing. And it's going to be super, super affordable. It's going to be $297 a month. If you're watching this video, you can see my face, but you can imagine what it is right now. Okay? $297 a month. And then they're going to join and it's just, there's that. And then that's it. Like there's like ramblings about like maybe a little bit about what they're going to put inside, but when I get to them and they're bringing this up with me, I'm not afraid to ask the follow-up questions that have a follow-up question that has a follow-up question, right? So I'm saying, okay, what's your content rollout plan? What's the number one result you want them to get? Are they getting that result every single month? Is this building upon? Are you having to do any sort of deliverables at all, and how are those going to be implemented? Are they getting reviews? Are they getting feedback? Are there group calls? What if only 2 people join? Are you still doing a group call? What's your expected churn rate? What's your lifetime value going to be? When someone joins, how long are they staying? What's your plan to get them to keep staying? What's the new content? What's the purpose? What are they taking away every single month that gets them to pay $297 every single month? How are you getting new members? Because once you convert the people that are in your current audience, you're going to need more eyeballs on the offer. Okay, so what was the revenue gap that you had that you wanted to bridge again? Oh, so it's about 6K. Okay, so 6K divided by 297 is 0.2 people. Well, you can't have 0.2 of a person, so that's 21 people per month. 21 people per month that you are onboarding, bringing in, maintaining, asking to stay. So what's the scale plan here? Are you going to get 21 people this month right now to bridge that 6K revenue gap that you have? What's your plan to keep 100% of them the next month? Okay, maybe you say, well, I'm going to do a 90-month minimum. It's going to be like this little targeted cohort. Okay, then what? Then what? You've got to go from maybe you're converting 1 to 5 clients a quarter to 20 clients in 4 weeks. And you're going to say, okay, but it's only $295, it's $247, it's $197, right? It's less than $500. It's going to be a no-brainer. Okay, what's the result? What's the tangible? Why does someone want to join and why does someone want to stay? And it can't just be, well, I'm going to teach them about SEO. I'm going to teach them about copywriting. No one wants to learn that every single month in a container just to like do it themselves in their business. If you're learning it to get certified to start your own business, that's a different story, right? But I'm going to have to learn this information and then implement this newfound knowledge into my business in order to even see the result of what, let's just run with SEO, right? Okay, so I'm going to come to your little cohort and you're going to teach me something about SEO. And then now I need to go digest it and like actually understand it and then implement it into my business and then potentially see the result, but probably not as good because I'm not an expert. You are. So are you teaching me, you the expert, are you teaching me how to be an expert in your industry? Why? Why? So for all of that, here's the alternative that I would like to pose to you. I love that you want to teach and I love that you want to strategize. I encourage you to flip the word teaching and I want you to try on advising and I want you to try on consulting. Okay? Because in those seats, we still get to talk about what we know, potentially even put together presentations about what we know. We get to teach or train team members or other founders, right? We can implement in different ways by either bringing on support or creating the productized version, right? The framework, the methodology of what it is that we do. How I like to scratch the itch of I want to teach and I want to impact more business owners are within 2 capacities. And I'm going to use my own business as an example so you can understand how they're very different. They're going to scratch an itch in different ways, but I want to walk through both of them with you, okay? The first one is the strategic advisory and consultancy route. I went from done for you heavy implementation with business owners that I was working with to, okay, well, I'm at capacity. I can't take on any more implementation clients. I hit my own revenue ceiling. Okay, well, what can I do from here? I love a retainer. All right, so of these level 10 clients that I'm currently serving, who of them needs ongoing advisory and strategy? Who needs a CEO dashboard or metrics or content or planning or whatever it is that you are doing, right? Who needs that on an ongoing basis in a higher level container? It might not be all of them. Maybe I'm serving 5 to 7 clients and maybe 2 of them need that kind of level of strategic advisory ongoing. Okay, great. Let me pitch them an ongoing retainer at not $297 a month, at minimum $1,500 a month, depending on what you're doing. For some business owners, maybe it's $750 a month, depending on what you're doing. It all depends, right? But $750 still is not $297, okay? My current retainers right now, they start at $2,500 a month for my advisory consultant level, high level strategy retainers, okay? $2,500 a month. All right, great. If my gap was 6K, I need less than 3 of those babies to convert for me to reach that goal. Okay, done. 3 is different than 20. Do you hear me? We all know that, right? So that's one version. The other version is shifting your one-on-one done for you container, your project, right? Your service work into a done with you container that is not a membership, that is not going on forever into perpetuity, but instead has a very clear defined, this is the end result, and here are the pillars and the methodology in which we achieve that result, right? That is what sold out services is. You can have one, you can have the other, you can have both. What I would be remiss to not kind of poke the bear a little bit to call this out is what I see is when service providers go from one-on-one done for you to, okay, I'm going to do a membership, and they don't do the consultancy strategy, right? They don't even entertain that, and they instead go straight to membership. Is there two things. One, they don't think that they know enough to, quote, just advise and strategize on, that they have to always be doing. And they don't think any of their current clients would pay an ongoing retainer of $2,500 plus. Because what are we doing in that time frame, and why are you renewing month over month? They don't understand what that could look like. And that's okay. I'll help you get there. My retainer clients, by the way, just for radical transparency, my consultant level retainer clients, they sign either a 6 or 12-month contract. If it's 12, I shave off a little bit of that monthly recurring cost. If it's 6, it's $2,500 min. And then when they decide to renew at 6 months, it's for another 6 months. Forever, right? Until they want to stop. So it's at least a 6-month committed container, 6 to 12 months. Now, when you're talking memberships, you're basically doing a done with you container for the price of a low price membership. So not only is it low price, but you're also putting these expectations of your offer stuffing let's call it for what it is, right? You're putting in a shit ton of content, a shit ton of deliverables or assets, right? Trainings, templates, downloads, whatever. You're basically putting a shop into a membership, and you're convincing yourself that that's going to get people to keep paying you money month over month. But if you refined it a little bit, it could very much be a done with you container, which guess what? Starts at $2,500. Okay? That's like the magic number for this like scale up offer. And when we have conversations that start at $2,500, that start at lower lift, done with you asynchronous work, or monthly check-ins and advisory strategic sessions, right? That is when we can actually toggle up our capacity and our revenue. Because when you talk about the big, big difference of bringing on 3 new people and bridging your revenue gap versus 20 new people to bridge your revenue gap. Or if we go the done with you route and we do your first layer of productization, and all of a sudden you can go from serving 5 done for you clients to 9 done with you clients. And then we make another layer of productization, and now you can serve 15. And we make another layer, and now you can serve 30. That is true scale up in a sustainable way that still honors the level of service that I know you want to give. And to kind of go back to I just want to teach and I really want to teach. I feel like this comes up for a lot of service providers who've been in business for like 5, 7, 8, 10 years. And if they haven't done this route yet of teaching, then that like itching real bad. And so you think that, doing it in a paid container is going to be your best bet. And I'm here to, again, I'm always here to poke the bear, but to bring another thought to this room is there are a lot of other ways that you can teach and be an authority in your space without working for free without overstuffing a container and getting underpaid. Also, because the people paying $295 for a membership are not your ideal clients to pay you in your one-on-one service. Ideally, they should be feeding into each other, right? Right? So what are we doing? Running two separate businesses is what we're doing. But you could have a podcast. You could write a book. You could write a blog. You could apply to speak at summits. You could be interviewed on podcasts. You could start traveling and speaking at conferences, at networking events. You can teach in so many ways that elevate your current authority in the space, that establish you as the go-to expert for this topic, instead of dilutes your message and dilutes the value of your one-on-one done-for-you service with something that is low price, but also doesn't provide the best results. If you're in the service industry, a big factor of how you like doing work is getting amazing results and impacting clients and serving them. I want to help you figure out how can we continue to serve your clients, your level 10 clients, in a way that actually bridges your revenue gap, that actually increases your capacity, and that actually solidifies your authority and expertise in this space. We can achieve all of those things by productizing your offer. That might look like creating high-level strategic advisory in a retainer format. It might look like keeping your current signature service and refining it and productizing the shit out of it and hiring and outsourcing some elements of it. It might look like turning your signature service into a done-with-you container and pulling out some of the done-for-you elements, but keeping what I like to call white glove service experience, right? All of that's possible, and all of that is in the umbrella of productization. All right? I am going to be hosting a free webinar in March 12th, 2026 at noon Central Standard Time. It's called From Confusing to Converting: How to Use Your Authority Anchor to Become a Sold Out Service Provider. You can register for free at soldoutservices.com/webinar. Save your seat, come to the training, pay attention to this space because I'm going to be hollering at you about productization and authority and the systems that get designed behind the scenes and what happens when you do that. And the purpose of today's rant was to acknowledge that your desire isn't the problem. The itch that you want to scratch isn't the problem. It's the solution that you're coming up with to solve that opportunity that I want to just be the person to tell you that I don't think it's going to get you what you think it's going to. And having been on the other side of a membership and a template shop and a digital product business alongside group programs and cohorts and sprints and high-level done-for-you services, like truly was an agency that offered it all, I know which of those routes actually provides the type of life and business that you're looking for. And after 14 years of being in this space, I consider it my duty to let you know what are the potential potholes that line your road that I just want you to be aware of. If you choose to go over those potholes, in those, around them, down them, that's on you. And truly, we are all on our own journey, right? And we all get to go explore all of the different business ideas and the pathways that light us up and that feel fun. And truly, 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 I stand behind that. And I just want you to know what you're getting yourself into. I want you to know what the potential could and couldn't be, and that there are other opportunities out there. And so if you want to hear more about what those look like and what happens when you actually implement them instead, then come to the training. soldoutservices.com/webinar. Save your free seat. Share it with a friend. Come with your questions. Come ready to learn, because I love teaching. It's come full circle, right? But guess what? That webinar, that training is the marketing needed, or it's not even needed. It's what I like to do because I love a webinar and I do love teaching. It's what I have as part of my launch plan because I like it, but it also works and it leads directly into my done with you container. Okay? So come check it out. Come hang out, ask all your questions, and let's get past your current revenue ceiling. Hey, thank you so much for listening to this episode of Sell the Damn Service. I'm really honored that you spent however many minutes you just did with me. Now, if you could go do me a very quick favor and be sure to like, subscribe, leave a rating and a review for this podcast over on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, or, pick your favorite platform. I'm not going to be that choosy. It truly means the world to me. It's how little tiny shows that are like mine, that are self-funded and, being edited in between dinner time and school pickup, it helps us get seen. It's free for you to do and takes just a couple of minutes. And I would love you forever if I could send you an edible arrangement as a big thank you. I would. So instead, consider this giant thank you directed just at you for going to do that. And share this episode or this podcast with a friend who needs to hear it. I love ranting and raving about service-based business strategies. And, I think more people should listen to this show, honestly. So I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I really, really, really am grateful that you're here, and we will chat very soon.